Welcome back to another I Don't Work Here Lady. I've got some stories here I hope you enjoy. So sit back, get yourself comfortable, and here we go. Now I'm a 21-year-old male. I was going to Ikea to look for a new pillow, and some furniture, desk equipment, and other things for our family's new house. We just moved in, and we needed some furniture. So I looked up just about everything I needed a few weeks earlier. So when I went in, me and my father can go get the stuff and not lose any time. The place was huge. The place is like a huge storage place, so memorizing where things were helps you to be able to find things. So we arrive, and I guide my father flawlessly through the huge maze. We're almost finished. I was checking on my phone to see if I got everything, and started waiting for my father, when an entitled mom and her kid came up to me. And here's the dialogue.
Hi.
I'm not answering because I didn't hear her.
Hi.
She raised her voice. I turned around, said hi, and when I saw the mom, she had the typical Karen look. I don't know what's up with that, but regardless, she looked like the very stereotype of a Karen.
Excuse me, where can I find so-and-so?
I'm sorry, lady, I don't work here. I'm a customer like you. I proceeded to turn back. I really wasn't looking like an IKEA worker at all.
Excuse me, I saw you help the other man over there, so why can't you help me?
As I told you, I don't work here. And even if I would help a fellow, I would continue to help till I was finished and then start helping you, or redirect you to someone else. I should have been more careful about how I said that, because now she thought that I actually worked there.
So, you do work here. So just help me. It won't take you long. I'm sure that punk...
Still my dad, I guess. Why not?
Will not bother you at all if you help me.
She starts raising her voice, almost screaming at this point, when I saw an IKEA worker. And I think it would just be mean to ask him to help her, since she was such a terrible customer. So why don't I help her? Okay. Let me check with the punk, and if he's finished, I'll come help you.
You better, you jerk. End with the punk quickly, and come back. I need you more than him.
I went to my dad, and I explained the situation, and he starts boiling inside. Now something you need to know. You don't want to insult me or my dad. For one, we're both over 6 foot tall, and we're between 200 to 276 pounds apiece. Not only that, if you mess with me, I'm gonna make you regret it. So, we get everything carried to the car, and I come back, formulating my evil plan.
Excuse me for the wait. He's almost finished, so he didn't need me anymore. Finally!
She hands me a list of like 20-something items. I'll look quickly at the list.
Oh, okay. Shall we start? Follow me.
Then I proceed to make her go all over the storage place, multiple times, grabbing random things, pretending it was what she needed. It took almost 35 minutes. While heading back to the cashier, I spotted my dad. He was waiting, and he was watching me do my stuff. He understood what I was doing, and a look saying that he was proud of me. I look at the woman, and I say,
"Bye, have a good evening. I hope to see you at another IKEA." Finally, it's finished.
You can go pay for your stuff. My dad went up to the cashier, right next to the entitled mother and her kid. I just stayed behind. My dad pays for our furniture, and I finally show up and greet the cashier. The entitled mother just finished paying as I come up to her, and the cashier. I look at the cashier and I say, "Hi."
Hey.
How much was it?
How much did she have to pay?
It was $7,548.
Excuse me, can you explain to entitled mother that I don't work here? She thinks that I do.
Sorry ma'am, but this guy isn't working here. She's shocked by what she just learned, and she looks at me.
What? But how did you know so flawlessly where to find all of my stuff?
The cashier understands what just happened, and he starts hiding from entitled mother. I look at her and I say, "I don't know where your stuff was. I just picked up random furniture. I was just making sure it was really expensive. You annoyed me too much, and you didn't listen. So have fun building stuff you don't want." I just leave while she's screaming. She was kicked out of the IKEA by a security guard, and the kid was crying because she left her with the cashier. along with her stuff. Now, I'm quite short, just under 5 foot tall. Most of the time, I'm quite comfortable with my height, but supermarkets are my bane. All too often, I find the things I need on the top shelf, right where I can maybe tease them down, using the fingertips as I stand on my tiptoes. That's if I'm lucky. So usually, I prefer not to risk it, and I ask the closest fellow shopper. I've never had any problems. Those who are busy, they just ignore me. Those who have a moment will help. But yesterday, I ran into a man who just turned it into a huge confrontation. I was looking at the pepper jar, thinking that I couldn't get it down, so I better ask for help. He came right up next to me, and he was looking at a similar jar. So before he moved away, I asked him to get a second jar for me, please. He immediately explodes. He says that I'm too dumb and I can't see that he doesn't work here, and he's just trying to shop like I do. His rant lasted a couple of minutes, insulting me and generally swearing. I was so glad that I finally grew a thick skin. He nearly would have drove me to tears. Thankfully, another shopper came past, and I turned to her, ignoring the still ranting man, and asked her if she could get the pepper for me. She did, and I thanked her, and I turned around and left, and the man was still screaming. But when he noticed all this, I could hear him choke mid-rant, but I didn't look back. Here's some context. I posted this on Ask Reddit, and someone told me that this was a unicorn story for this sub. That is actually a very nice story. There's no Karens. However, it does remind me of the good things that can happen, even on not so good days. I was hurrying in Walmart one day, and some dude was blocking the aisle. It was exactly where the item was I needed. He was parked there next to an employee, and he was talking to her. I heard him ask the employee where the cabinet liners were. She proceeded to say she wasn't sure, and was going to send him to the wrong location. The man said thank you, and was about to go on his way, so I noisily piped up,
I know where they are. If you want to follow me, I'll take you to where they are because I just bought them last week.
"Oh, okay, thank you." He followed me all the way to the opposite side of the store, and I showed him where they were. He thanked me profusely, and I hurried back to the other side and got what I needed. 5 minutes later, I'm at the self-checkout. I saw the man, and he was just hanging around with his bag of purchases on his arm. When it came time for me to pay, he stepped up, and he insisted on paying for my items. I thanked him profusely. At the time, all I had was $35 in the bank, and I was trying to purchase food for the week. This man, that I started off being really annoyed at, actually helped me out so much. I still tear up when I think about it, and of his kindness. I'm a single mother. I have 2 wonderful children, but during these hard times, this was a miracle. It goes to show you that sometimes a little kindness can go a long way. This happened recently at a store in India. This store is much like Target. For the record, the store workers wear a black polo with an orange collar, and they have the store's logo embroidered in the same orange, with black pants and an orange mask. I went there earlier to get some supplies. Now, I was wearing a bright yellow floral blouse with a blue floral mask and a ripped pair of jeans, so not even remotely resembling any of the employees. As I'm carefully taking my cart up to the checkout counter, a lady zips across and cuts me off. Now, because of her speed, I didn't see her, and I hit her cart as she was whipping in. She looks at me and she says,
What, are you blind? Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am, but you came in front of me. Watch where you're going. I don't know where these people come from, but who the hell hired you? I expect to see the manager. Ma'am, I'm a customer just like you. I don't work here. Furthermore, I would recommend not cutting someone off and rushing through a crowded store if you don't want to get hit. Well, you uncouth swine.
At this point, I wore my headphones, and I walked over to another counter, and the lady starts complaining and screaming to the cashier.
Do you have no protocols about how you hire people? I demand to see the manager.
Ma'am, she's not an employee, and you did cut in the line.
I've had it with you people. I need a discount for this rude behavior. I demand to see the manager.
At this point, the cashier's already called the manager, and I've already finished processing my items. The manager comes over. Unbeknownst to us, the manager saw the entire incident. She walked over to me first and says,
I'm sorry, ma'am. On behalf of the store, you get 10% off all of the stuff on your order.
And she motions me to the cashier to process my discount. The manager then heads over to the lady.
What the hell? Not only are you blind, but you're also rude. Sorry, ma'am, but the lady in yellow is not an employee, but a customer. As you can see, our uniforms are very different. But I'm sorry, but we cannot issue you a discount. But I can recommend an excellent eye doctor for you.
And the manager walks away. I don't know what happened after that, because when I was done, I just exited the store. Otherwise, I would have held up the line. So here's a little background. I am the shift lead at the local Taco Bell. Our lobby is currently closed, mainly because of COVID-19. It was my day off. I was in town for a lovely day of lunch with my grandfather. I didn't see him too often since moving into town. I accidentally left my mask at home, and we were going to go to the sushi place. They also have a mask policy. No big deal. My Taco Bell was only halfway between the sushi place and my house, so I stopped there so I can grab a mask. My grandfather parked in the parking lot, and I walked to unlock the door. I went in, I spoke to my general manager, and told him that I forgot my mask. So he grabs me a mask, and I walk out. Then a rather irate lady stepped up, and she starts demanding that I let her in the door. She claims that her order was messed up, and she had to go inside to speak to the manager. I tried to explain to her that the lobby is closed. She demands again that I let her in, knowing that I had the key. I explained to her the policy, that I could not allow anyone in. So I went ahead and locked the door, and advised her to call the store. Oh, this wasn't good enough for the lady. She continued to go off, throwing insults left and right, calling me a disrespectful teenager. I was actually 20 at the time. I got a slight baby face. I explained to her again that the best thing she could do is call the store, inform a manager about the issue, and pull in through the drive-thru. Or if it's possible, a team leader can run out the food for her. This finally seemed to get through to her, but it still wasn't enough. She asked for my name, my title, and informed me that she was going to make sure that I got fired for my attitude. Mind you, I was off of work. I was in plain clothes, and I just left the store grabbing a mask, just to be berated by this middle-aged battle axe. I think that my attitude was warranted, seeing that my ride was waiting for me only 10 feet away. Plus, currently I'm not working. I went ahead and said sorry for the inconvenience, and that the lobby was closed, and that I had to leave. I was worried because I had gotten a promotion, and that was very recently. I didn't want to lose my promotion just because of some lady in the parking lot. Well, roughly a half an hour later, I get a call from my general manager. I'm in the middle of lunch, and I thought to myself, oh boy, here it goes. As I answered, I heard the sound of laughing greeting me, and he told me that the lady hadn't even bought any food. She was just trying to get a free meal. She tried to say that she ordered earlier, but the general manager was there the whole time, and he knew that she hadn't been there. So needless to say, he sent away this entitled battle axe. Okay, I did add the battle axe thing. She was a little bit less rude about it than me. I think it's merited. Here's a question to IDontWorkHereLady. Now, the people who successfully shut down Chads and Karens and the IDontWorkHereLady moments, what has definitely worked for you instantly? I'm just thinking, I read these stories and they're great, but so many end with the OP just slipping out. Most of them end with the Karen not coming to any realization as to her being an idiot and that she was addressing the wrong person. So how do I address this problem directly? Is there something to put them directly into the tracks of the oncoming logical thought train, so as to change their thinking or be run over painfully? Answer 1. I heard once when someone immediately replied to Karen, "Oh, I was wondering when you'd finally help me. I need you to get something for me from the back. It's this, and I need it in this color or this size." And it usually puts the Karen in the other position, and it highlights the fact that you don't work there. And she tries to tell you that she's not an employee either, and you simply reply back, "Well, I'm certainly not one. Get me your manager now." And once they're frustrated and leaving, just go about your business. Basically out-Karening the Karen. Everyone has an inner Karen. As a matter of fact, I come from a family of Karens, and while I'm typically the calm one, I was a pushover until recently. I have found that out-Karening a Karen makes them back off, because Karens and Chads, they're immune to logic, respect, and polite behavior. Trying to make them see reason is pointless. All it does is use up your time and increase stress levels. The best way to respond is to speak loudly and with authority, and back away quickly, just in case they get violent. Trying to reason with them will only escalate the situation. Answer 2. I've always found that talking calmly over them usually stops them long enough to say, "I don't work here, find someone in uniform." I say it several times, very, very slowly and clearly, but not raising my voice or matching her screeching level, and if they don't get the point and they threaten to get you fired, just stand back, fold your arms and say, "Go right ahead." It also helps if you have someone with you, so you can send them off to get various items from your shopping list and pointedly put them in your trolley. Number 3. I'm a vendor, so I'm in and out of a lot of big box retailers. I have my own shirt and badge. It's not even the same color of any of the retailers' uniforms. When someone is especially rude, like when they demand stuff, like printer ink, instead of asking, I ignore them until they get so frustrated, they'll say something like, "Hey, I'm talking to you," and I usually ask them, "Who are you? What, do you think I work here?" And usually they leave. Other times they say, "I have a question," and I say, "You could ask me, but I don't work here," and usually they just leave. So there's a few good pointers for you. I hope they're useful. Hopefully, all you have to do is enjoy these stories and never have to experience them yourself. Thankfully, I've never really encountered it. Now, I've had people ask my help, or I've offered it myself, but I've never actually ran into a Karen or a Chad in the grocery store expecting me to do stuff for them. I usually have very good experiences, so I do feel sorry for those who don't. Thank you so much for joining me for this I Don't Work Here Lady. Well, this should be the last one for the week. I'd like to also give a special thanks to my patrons. Your help is really appreciated. Also, thank all of you for joining me. Hope you guys enjoy all the content that I'm pushing out. It's a lot of hard work, but I do enjoy it, especially seeing so many comments. So I hope you all have a good day, and until next time, this is Dallas, signing off.